It's time for Drummer Nation. Born in Rio de Janeiro, Duduka Da Fonseca started playing drums when he was 13. He moved to New York City in 1975 and was the founder and leader of Brazilian All-Stars, Brazilian Express, and the New York Samba Band. He was a teacher at the Drummers Collective and wrote an instructional book, Brazilian Rhythms for Drumset. He is a founding member and co-leader of Trio Da Paz and leads the Duduka DaFonseca Trio. Next on Drummer Nation. Here's your chance to win some bronze from Istanbul Mehmet, the original handmade cymbals from Turkey. The prize includes 3 shiny black bell cymbals, a giant ride, a powerful crash, and oversized hi-hats. The black bell line features 2 sonic personalities in one cymbal. It's a punchy pairing. Check the link in the show notes for your chance to win. Us American drummers get all these terms mixed up. We've talked about the difference between samba and bossa nova. There's baio, is that how you say it? Bayon or
Baião. Baião.
Baião, okay.
Baião.
Batucada,
Batucada.
Partido Alto.
Partido Alto, yeah.
How are these different?
Well, samba is the, like we talked before, is more like a heavy, it's like the rhythm from Brazil, the most well-known rhythm, was developed in Rio de Janeiro, and it's a heavy way to play. Bossa Nova, it came from samba, it's more subtle, it's like you put the samba in a filter, and then you get the Bossa Nova feeling with also, because, the main instrument of the Bossa Nova when I was born was João Gilberto playing the acoustic guitar. It need to be a subtle way to play the drums, And usually in Bossa Nova, Jobim used to say that, which was funny, said, you're not supposed to sweat when you play Bossa Nova, It's really, subtle. And Bossa Nova, and then Baião. Baião is that rhythm from the northeast of Brazil, from Recife, and which one?
How is that different, though? Well, back to the Bayon. How is that different? When you guys play the samba, you don't play boom, 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 boom. You break that up, right?
No, of course, that's the traditional way to play with the bass drum playing the ostinato,
Right.
But let's put it this way, like for instance, a long time ago, the American jazz drummer used to play, when they play jazz, they used to play quarter notes in the bass drum. And then Joe Jones, and then Kenny Clark, and Roy Haynes, Max Roach, Roy Haynes, they started to change things around.
Right.
And Alvin, and, but those Kenny Clark, get the credit for to use the bass drum to play melodic accents. The same thing can be done with Brazilian music. You don't need to be playing that tundum, tundum, tundum all the time. You can, I particularly don't like that loud,
Right.
because the bass is already playing, ding, doom, doom, ding. So you don't want like to doom, to doom. It's like a Chinese torture in your head. For my taste, musical taste, it takes out, the lightness and the poetry of the music if you have that loud, So I like, even if you play, I like to be, like they say, under the sleeve. And I like a lot to use, in some situations I can do that, other situations I can't. But some situations which I love, I can use the bass drum to play melodic accents without playing the ostinato.
I understand.
For instance, you're playing, instead of playing tuk skutuk 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 skutuk, you play ta 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 kum dum 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 ta tum ta ta do do dum pak tak kai kum kum. Just using the bass drum to complement a phrase that you're doing on top, like you do in jazz.
I've never
You
heard
don't.
anybody put it that way. That's a great point. So that just to play boom, chick, ba boom, chick, ba boom through a whole tune in Brazilian music is like our equivalent of a drummer that might be playing quarter notes on the bass drum too loud. Boom,
Well,
boom, boom, boom.
there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to play quarter notes, the bass drum, and if you want some, I love
As long as
sometimes
it's not too loud, right?
I love to play the ostinato. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's not too loud, I like to. Some situations you
Right.
need to do it. You know, but
That's an excellent
uh,
point, though. I really appreciate you clarifying that.
yeah.
How about a batucada? What is that?
Batucada, we call batucada when a bunch of percussion instruments, including snare, agogo bell, tambourine, pandeiro, which is the American tambourine,
Mm-hmm.
and reco reco, ganzá, the shaker, and many other instruments, they get together and they play the samba rhythm. We call a batucada. When a
Oh, I
bunch of
see.
percussion players play, the rhythm of samba.
Okay, I didn't realize that. And partido
And
alto?
Partido Alto is one of the many variations of samba. You know, samba has very many variations, And partido, let me plug something here, if I may.
Absolutely.
Partido, you
Please.
know, in the end of when I used to teach at Drummers Collective, my dear friend Bob Winner, he was the one that said, "Hey, Duduk, you gotta teach." For years, in the 80s, early 80s, he said, and I said, Bob, I never went to school. I'm not I never had the education. I'm self-taught guy. He said, no, you gotta teach. And he convinced me, and I was insecure. At first of all, I bought a percussion player with me. I remember Ciro Batista went there with me, and then the late Guilherme Franco at Drummers Collective. And then I started to really like teaching because the students, they ask, what are you doing with your right hand? I said, I don't know. So,
Let's
how you
find
play the
out.
16 notes?
Mhm.
And I said, shit, how am I going to do? So they realized that when I play the 16 note, those three fingers here, I'm holding the stick, they moving. I never look at that.
Mm.
What are you doing with your left hand? I said, I don't know. So it made me, to have more knowledge what I used to do since I never had a formal education without thinking. So it was a great way to learn.
I want to ask you about some of your bands, the Samba Jazz and the Music of Joe Beam,
Uh huh.
and the your own trio, the
Uh huh.
Duduka Da Fonseca Trio, and the Trio La Paz.
Okay.
Which one would you like to start with?
Uh, well, the samba jazz and the music of Jobim. Uh, I should have the album. You know the album that we just recorded.
No.
Okay, let
I mean, I
let
read
me
about
get
it, but I haven't heard it. I'm not familiar with
let me get the album. Hold on.
it. Okay.
Uh, because we just did this album. Uh,
That's been an
it
ongoing project, though, right?
it came out on. I can send you one. Send
Well,
me
I'd
your
love to have.
address.
Sure will.
I
Yeah.
send you. I'm going to Brazil on Monday, but I send you before. It's this album.
Oh, yeah. I saw about it online.
We have Hélio Alves is the piano player and a musical partner. My wife is singing.
Oh,
She
okay.
sang 10 years with Jobim Maúcha Diné. And I also play with Jobim and tour with him and record with him. And we have like Winter Marsalis and Claudio Roditi,
I see that.
And the band the band in the back, is the band that we have been playing at this club for many years. Is Hans Glavichnik on bass and Billy Drews on saxophone and flute and Romero Lubambo on guitar.
Beautiful. It's getting great
Nice.
reviews. I've looked
I'm gonna send you.
I've looked it up. Please do. And so that's been an ongoing project for the music of Jobim for what, since 2007?
Yeah, that album we've been, working at this club 2007. And what I'm trying to do, what I do, is like I try to, besides the songs of Jobim that people really know, like the Dindi or Desafinado or One Note Samba,
Right.
and
Popular ones.
those beautiful ones. What I've been doing all those years is because Jobim composed over 400 songs, and some people, including Brazilians, they just know a fraction of the songs. They know 30, they know 20, they know 40, 50. But Jobim wrote more than 400. So what I'm trying to do, what we are doing, is to show in this album we play several tunes like let me close several tunes that is not they beautiful, but they're not that well known by the public. Like Paulo Pony is a song that he wrote in 1970 for a movie. Has that samba boogaloo feeling, and that Billy Higgins knows to do so well. Used to do so well. And uh, also Pato Preto, which is a baião, is the black duck, and a correnteza. A correnteza is the river rapid, you know.
Yeah, I don't know any of these songs.
I know. You're gonna see. I'm gonna send you the album, but please
Please.
send me your mailing address.
Okay, I will.
I
I
don't
will.
think I have.
Let's talk about Trio La Paz.
Trio Da Paz is like an old marriage. We've been playing together since 1986, for 3 years. It's a long time. I think we go to the Guinness Book.
Yeah, you're in each other's heads, that's for sure.
We love to play with each other. It's like our relationship is great. Sometimes, we disagree on one thing, but we always come to understand, a mutual understanding. And it's always, the trio. What I love about this trio is like it has something very original. You might like, you might not like.
I have those
But
albums. I love
but
it.
the thing is, one thing is like originality. It's like some people, I love the sounds of people. Sometimes you like or don't like, but they have their own sound. When you play, for instance, an example, Astrid Gilberto. You might like, you might not like, but when you hear her first note in a recording, you know that's Astrid.
Right.
So this Stan Getz, same thing. You know that's Stan playing. Uh, Gato Barbieri. You might not like him, but when he plays, I know he has a lot of things from Pharoah Sanders and things like
But
that.
it's Gato from
But
from
he got
Note
his
One.
sound. You know. So I think I don't want to compare. I think Trio Da Paz is in that ball game. That when we play, and after playing for so many years, we never rehearse. So when we play, we have something that's going on that I don't know how to explain, and
It's a
if they
band. It
change,
sounds like a band.
it sounds like a band. If they change a guitar player or a bass player or the drummer,
Different thing.
it
Yeah.
might be even better, but
I
it's
don't think
not
so.
gonna sound the same.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Okay,
it's
and
not
then
gonna sound the same.
you do your own trio
My
now, right?
trio, my trio. I used to have a quintet, but the quintet was with a Natco and a bunch of great folks, and Anat got too busy, and we had for 10 years, and I don't have anymore. I have a trio in Brazil, which are going to be playing now in Rio and São Paulo, in November, and that's my Brazilian-based trio. And my American-based trio is with Hélio Alves and Peter Washington.
Oh,
You know
really?
this bass player?
Sure. Yes.
He is bad. I
He is
tell you,
bad.
he is really bad. And
I've heard
we
him with
start
Kenny Washington on occasion.
Kenny Washington. Kenny Washington is the teacher of my younger daughter at SUNY Purchase.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The history of jazz. He's a great teacher,
Oh, he
great
knows that
drummer,
stuff
and
inside
he's
out.
very tough. He's very tough.
Hmm.
And he knows her. So the first day of the class, she's a little shy. She had no place to sit. She sat in front. And Kenny looked at her and said, Mrs. Da Fonseca. She was like, whoa. Said, you're going to be responsible to tell me what time it is that we're supposed to finish because they have those time uh, frames that they need
Right.
to follow.
Because Kenny
So
had a long day.
Isabella is supposed to tell him, the times, what's going on, and he's he's very demanding, very good, because he prepares himself, he study a lot, so he expects that from the student, I should be that tough with my students
Are you doing a
sometimes,
lot of teaching now?
Some I start to go back, at new school,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe sometimes I think I'm too friendly,
Too easy?
and yeah, and sometimes, unfortunately, because they are younger, you need to. It's not be like you know, uh, a rude or something, but you need to have that limit. That I want to be good, but I want also them to learn, and for them to learn, a young gentleman or lady to learn, they need to have discipline, and that's up to us that we are teaching to put that discipline, so we can't let the things too loose, leave the like you need to say, look, you got to learn that, you got to learn how to play that melody the right way, the way you're playing the phrasing is not good, it
Mm-hmm.
isn't that, need to
I understand you want to be demanding but not crush their spirit.
them, yes, yes.
You want to
You need to,
encourage them, be
yes,
uplifting
yeah. You
at the
need to be
same time as
patient.
you're on them.
Yeah, you need to be patient, but you need to also expect the things. When you know that you gave enough time for someone to learn, you expect and say, "Look, you have enough time to learn that song,
Mm-hmm.
so I expect you to work harder." Because this is a waste of. If it's not, unfortunately, you're wasting your time and
And
you're
yours.
wasting the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need to say those kind of harsh words, to make sure that the student understand that why he's paying if he's not going to put the effort to learn.
Well, I'm sure you're a great teacher and very generous with your time
I'm
and
a
your
little
spirit.
bit soft. I'm getting old. I get softer.
That's okay. That's all right. Listen, you've been
I'll,
very. Pardon?
no, no. I always been when I used to teach at collective, when
Mhm.
we drummers collective, when we used to go to the finals. Everybody, the students, they came from Mexico, from Europe, from Sweden, from all over. They are so nervous. I tell them before, look, all of you, I'm not all of you, they are gonna approve all of you. Just play the thing, relax and play.
It's a
I'm
hard thing to
not
do.
gonna, yeah. And
When,
they did,
when I was in North Texas years ago, for juries you're talking about, right, where they play at the end of the semester, the
North,
guys,
yeah,
the guys would,
yeah.
the percussion teachers would take the xylophone or the marimba bars and move them so that they
Oh,
were all wrong. And the kid would come in nervous as hell and he'd start playing and, what? You better start that one over, son.
I know, oh,
And
man,
they
it's
would figure
amazing. One
out that they had moved
one
all the
time,
bars.
one guy, from Mexico, he started to cry.
Mhm.
And then I went to talk to the director. That was kind of tough at that time at drum school. I said, look, this guy spent a lot of money. He came from Mexico. His family paid. Let's close. They never did that. Let's close. Give 6 months to him, whatever time he needs, and then he come here and finish
Mhm.
he does the course right because
That's a
it's
good
a
idea.
waste of money. And so
Right.
he was so relieved. He was happy.
Well,
You
I
know.
appreciate you being so generous with your time today, Duduka, and I've certainly
Yeah,
learned a lot.
I'm talking so much. I forgot to say the book that I did with Bob Winner. It has a lot of history. The name is under my name and my dear friend Bob Winner is Brazilian Rhythms for Drum Set. You can find a lot of explanation about Partido Alto, about samba, about batucada, about baião, and has comes with two CDs. And I play all the examples in the
Beautiful.
CDs.
Yeah, I'll plug it when we post the video. I'll have it listed in the notes.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Was great. And send me your address,
I
Mike,
sure will.
so I can send you this album. Yeah.
Thank you for your time. I consider
Thank
you my new
you.
friend, and look forward to
Thank
meeting
you
you
so
in
much.
person.
I'm looking forward to meeting you too. Thank you so much.
Safe travels to Brazil. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.